welcome to another Shop Talk. Just a little update today. I'm going to show you the overhead guard on, oh, it's a bit noisy in there. Show the overhead guard on the saw as promised. Just a quick video and just show you a few things what's going on in the shop. I think Will's angle grinding. What are you doing, Will? Plates?
Base plates, yeah.
So we've got the threaded insert plates for our feet and then base plates to go onto the table, going onto our kind of crazy spider legs, whatever you want to call them. These are the really big set. We had another set go out. I'll just show you a picture of that. So this is the plunge pool I'm doing for a well-known boxing promoter. They're going to send me some footage of them all in it, I think, some big event to replace a plunge pool that was there, so I had to make it to the exact size. I'm actually going to ship it on the pallet. It's odd, it's just as much work making a small plunge pool, setting up and cutting as it is a big hot tub. But anyway, that's good. And then the door, gate, sorry. These are some gate posts I'm working on to replace the post. This is the potentially controversial domino. Yep, SAP or SIP Peely dominoes I used for the first time. I didn't use my mega dominoes. I've got a video coming. So there's 3 dominoes here, 3 there, 3 there. So there's like 18 dominoes. There's even a domino in here and there's a domino in here. It's 20 in total on there. No external openings on the wood, no end grain openings on the wood, and used, what did I use? West Systems resin. So it's pretty much a watertight seal. With the Sippo dominoes, they have this really good groove system for the squeeze out with resin on every inch. Let's see how stable it is. I don't see any water getting in myself. The next one is going to be a standard mortise and tenon, or more traditional. I'm going to cut the mortises with the domino, going to cut the tenons on the spindle moulder, and then I'm going to peg it. This is the other side. It's TG&V, random widths. And then the third one coming up, I haven't started, more of a car gate rather than pedestrian. That's going to have the haunch tenons, kind of through tenons with a wedge. So we'll see over time how these 3 hold up. I'm really excited about kind of doing a trial in my own place, really. Now we're going to get on to the overhead guard, and we're going to do a little bit of how me and Will installed it, mainly Will, drilling the chassis, how it might work with you, and a little bit of the safety thing. So we started by measuring that bracket, which is what goes over. You can see there in the yellow lines, we made a bit of a grid, and we drilled through and we tapped, because the carcass is pretty thick on the Altendorf. So this thing is super heavy, definitely need 2 people to fit this. So there's a couple of adjustments down on that bracket. They're kind of like a big massive grub screw. After you've tapped it, you can loosen off the fix-ins and you can adjust the grub screws up, down, left and right. There's 4 points. You can see Will here is adjusting the grub screws, pulling it out to level it off. That was it. It's 15. Okay, so here's the fitting. That's the adjustment grub screws. There's 4 of those, top and bottom. Got your 4 bolts, top and bottom. We tapped it in. Bit of a mistake we made. As you can see, we put the bolts on the extreme. I measured it. They are spot on. And we did luckily line that up spot on. But if you'd have put those in the middle, you'd have a bit of movement, linear movement as well. An unexpected bonus is the end of my table says I can cut 105. Now, with this guard, the old guard was here, the old kind of, well, wasn't an overhead guard with the Altendorf, it was just a tube to hold the extraction for the non-overhead guard. You can see now that I've gained quite a lot. So the downside is I've had to move my planer over. So I can now cut just under 1.4 from the blade right the way to the outside of that overhead. So that's a massive bonus actually. Really good when you like to use your sliding table and you've got the other end of the sheet of ply moving. You can just whip off the mitre fence and you've got all of that room there, which is really nice. Lovely big dust hose. It's really easy to get out of the way, so you can just sort of push it up. You get masses of clearance for putting stuff through. If you need to get your head over the blade, there are certain circumstances when you do. On this system, I don't know the Altendorf, it's really simple. Just undo this and push this out the way. Mainly when I'm doing the rebates and I need to come up and sneak up on the cut for the first rebate. And I'll usually, once I've got it all set up, I'll then bring the guard back. There is definitely a nice feeling in the workshop. That now, I can't believe I worked like that before. That now feels really treacherous, with the ability to go in there with this back. So that's back on, there's kind of a hydraulic there. There's a mitre version of this for doing your 45s or whatever it is you're gonna do. You literally push this down. This wheel, we've got ours set up so that basically when you're cutting, the first thing that goes through lifts up. It lifts it up slightly on that ram there, and then the rest of it is all contained within the saw. So you don't feel like you can drop anything on it, get anything caught. You're all this distance away. There's plenty of room in here for bringing my scoring blade up, which I hardly ever use. I'll show you swapping it out for the mitre version. Pull that one out, it's really heavily made. You can buy plastic replacement perspex if you're ever going to catch them, something like I would probably do. Slide this in, lock it down, and there you go, you're ready for your mitre cuts. It's interesting because I actually think I love Ortendorf saws, and one day maybe get a CNC one, and some of their big saws have huge kind of gantries and this system on here, but I actually think the one that comes for the WA6, I think this is actually more heavy duty built than the one you would buy, and it's around about half the price. So I'm going to try and do this in slow-mo, not sure it's going to work. You can see I've just blown this off, there's no sawdust. I'm going to do the first cut with the cover on, and we'll check it, and I'll blow it off, and we'll do the second cut with the cover off, and we'll check that. But I'll do it in slow motion so we can see the chips flying. There you go, there's the chips. We've just cut this little strip here. You can see what we get here. Back down to, well, you can see the area there. Stops around about that line there. Not a lot down here. Now we'll do exactly the same, slow-mo again. I'll blow it off, and we'll do the same with no guard. I'm not sure, I've not watched it back here on the laptop, but what we've got from here, we've got chips all the way along, and you can see they're still going to the back. They are on the floor. I know the floor's a bit messy, and they are more on there. Now that's a very small, about 12mm piece, but there's loads more chips coming. More importantly on that test for me was I've only got goggles on or glasses on here. I couldn't actually feel any sort of fines going to my nose, so I guess that's a big deal as well, the real micros. I'd be very interested to look back on my laptop and see those bits flying. We can talk about it in the comments, see the difference. But this isn't specific to obviously this overhead guard. It's any overhead guard. This is the one I'm reviewing just because it's the one I've got, and it actually is a kind of universal. It seems to be very universal, fits on this Ortendorf. I'm going to try and find some footage on a couple of builds that I've been doing last week, where I've been doing a lot of sawing on a plunge pool, and I made a big difference on a great big piece of wood. Maybe I should try it on a thicker piece of wood. So you can see that is absolutely epic. Now I must say, this is not a sponsored video. I bought this from Scott and Sargent in the UK. One of my viewers, subscribers, told me about it. I checked it out and jumped straight on it. They have actually got the same machine, I think it's a WA6, so I knew it would fit. It is absolutely brilliant. It's definitely upgraded this machine. Probably good giving it another 2 or 3 years before I'm interested in changing. There's other things you can spend your money on. There's nothing wrong with this saw. I just really like a CNC fence, rise and fall for repetitive work. But this is awesome, works really well. Dust collection is absolutely brilliant. So when it comes to dust collection, I have had a few comments in the past saying that my system may not be up to it. This is actually my extractor, which I bought used. It is absolutely epic, and believe you and me, that 125 pipe, that is plenty. Problem is, because I mill virtually everything I make, I don't buy it in, machined. I machine everything. This, all of this, all of that bag, and over there, that is 2 weeks, and there's a few bags in there. That lot there, I think there's another bag outside. That's 2 weeks of work for me, and all of this. The problem is remembering to empty it, and I would say if I go to empty that machine, it's almost every other time, not quite, that I've forgotten, and it's all piled over the top, and that means I've lost suction. And to be honest, that's the reminder for me. Just keeping up, trying to empty it really. When you're working on your own, you just forget, you've got your mind on other things. When you start planing with that beast, you're planing board after board after board, and especially the spindle moulder, the sawdust and the chips that are created is absolutely immense. So if you ever see it not collecting, that's what it is. So anyway, I hope you guys found that interesting. Someone requested that video, and I was quite interested to see what the difference is. The main difference, as I say, what you can't really see is the feeling. You're getting less coming towards your face, your nose. Having that blade engulfed is a kind of game changer in terms of safety, without a doubt. You can't put your hand on it, you can't fall on it, you can't get stuff caught in it. You always push it down as a matter of habit and let the thing ride up itself automatically over ply, sheet goods. It's brilliant on sheet goods and ply. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hope you found it interesting. Please give me a like and a thumbs up, and subscribe if you're not already. It really helps the channel and the Google and all that business. Until the next one, see you later.